Once you make the decision to fire an employee, that decision is no longer negotiable. You also have to be convinced that the employee was given every reasonable opportunity to change. When it comes time to actually fire an employee, it is often beneficial to have another person present. This person can act as a witness to the termination and may be helpful if you are ever questioned or if a wrongful termination suit is ever filed. It is important to make the meeting short and to the point. The objective at this time is not to discuss job performance, but rather to present the facts pertaining to the termination. You can generally complete the discharge process in less than 5 minutes. The manager should begin by asking Jim to accompany her and a witness into the office. At this time, she should explain to Jim that his performance has not improved, despite numerous warnings. The manager tells him that she has no other choice but to let him go. She asks Jim for any keys that he has to the building or other clinic property that he may possess. A letter of termination, along with a description of how benefits and delinquent veterinary accounts will be handled, should be delivered at this time. The employee's final check should be furnished with their letter of termination. After the manager has handed Jim this letter and his check, she and the witness should escort him out of the building and wish him good luck. Jim's alarm code should be erased from the security system. Notes on everything that occurred during the termination should be recorded, and the witness should sign these notes. Any notes and other pertinent information should be placed in Jim's permanent record, and these materials should be saved. Although Jim never seemed to be a threat to the hospital security, it is always best to take precautions with any employee that is terminated. A uniform procedure must be outlined for your hospital's termination policy. Let's review a checklist of key steps that should be taken while firing an employee. Have a witness present. Try to keep the procedure short and to the point. Ask the employee to turn in any hospital possessions such as keys. Give the employee their letter of termination, which details the handling of benefits, sick time, vacation time, and delinquent veterinary accounts. Include the employee's final check with their letter of termination. Wish the employee luck and escort them out of the hospital. Be sure that the employee's alarm code is erased from your security system. When all of these steps of termination are properly implemented, the difficult task of discharging an employee will proceed smoothly. We will now move on to discuss 2 additional issues that you may encounter concerning employee termination. Many states have adopted labor laws which include an at-will clause. Simply stated, at will means that the employee may leave when they wish, and the employer may, at their discretion, sever the employment relationship at any time. Unless a written contract binds the parties, there are no legal obligations on either part for the duration of employment. Nevertheless, firing a person is very serious and should always be conducted in a systematic fashion. You should become accustomed to your state's regulations regarding employee termination. One question that frequently arises among hospital managers is whether or not they ever have grounds to immediately dismiss an employee over serious infractions. The answer to this is a resounding yes. There are many instances that would warrant immediate dismissal without regard for trying to recover the employee. Examples of these circumstances include, but are not limited to, theft of money or drugs, fighting with other employees, cruelty to animals, arguing with clients, negligent veterinary care, or falsifying records. It is important that you do not jump to conclusions and accuse an employee without concrete proof. Unsubstantiated conclusions could lead to problems for both you and the hospital in the future. If you and at least one other employee see the act, then immediate dismissal is warranted. If not, it may be best to move cautiously and get your facts first. Wrongful termination lawsuits have become relatively common, and it is in your best interest to make sure that you have definitive evidence against that employee. Once you've obtained the evidence necessary to terminate an employee, you can use the same approach that was outlined earlier. Be sure to document everything that you have gathered. The most important thing to consider when firing an employee is whether or not you can justify your action. Remember that firing an employee should not be an emotionally driven decision, but a step-by-step process of working with that person to bring about positive changes. These documented attempts to prevent termination show your commitment to excellence in staff management and will go a long ways toward making an employee's dismissal proceed smoothly.